Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Well, I made the phone call to my uncle, asked him for the money. Of course, he's going to give it to me. Those guys are so great, man. Thank you so much, Uncle Thurman. Last night I made a therapy session where I was telling everybody I felt like quitting. But, you know, at the end of the day, feeling like quitting and quitting is two different things, and I want to give myself a shot. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't even listen to that therapy session, so if you guys watch it, know that I did not. I just made it, and I have no intention of watching it. Anytime I leave a therapy session up there talking about not feeling like living, I don't listen to it. I really don't. I leave it there for me to get it out of my system and just like an entry to log where I'm at. But to be honest with you, it's so frustrating. Just feeling like I haven't done enough. You know what I mean? And when I know that I've done everything I can. Good news is, and I got some good news. The good news is I was able to finally access the Lyft Express program on my app. Whatever the little glitch was, they finally fixed it overnight. So I was able to check out what they have. And they have EV vehicles. The lowest thing they got are like $300 down. Not because you have to get the protection plan, plus you're reserving your mileage, plus you're reserving, oh man, what else do you have to reserve? Everything that you have to reserve, they're reserving it for you. So it's one of those situations where the lowest plan they had ultimately leads you to spending $300. But that's not a problem. Because whatever the lowest plan is exactly what I can afford. So I just asked my family to give me what I need for the apartment this week to secure I can stay in this hotel. And then the next thing would be to get in the car, and that's it. And maybe like $100 extra to just get through the week, man. That's all I asked them for. It's a lot, but it is ultimately what I'm praying will be the last time I have to ask them to do this. Because at the end of the day, once I get in the vehicle, it's just about me putting foot to pavement and doing my due diligence to work. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing else to do. Either that or sit in this apartment and look at you guys, which is great, but not necessarily going to get me what I need. And so not only that, but I do need to have a vehicle upon the third week of being here so that I can transfer my stuff wherever I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it comes down to. You can only be here for 3 weeks. I'm 1 down, 2 to go. It's going to be much more important that whatever I do, there's a vehicle attached. Now, what I also want to do, I think I might have already said this to you guys, and it's not that important, but I got a lot of stuff here that for me, I don't need to be carrying with me no more. Some stuff that I'd like to keep, some stuff that maybe I can even sell. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to need a vehicle to transport it to my boy T's storage, put it in a backpack and put it in his storage, in theory. Or I could just catch the bus down there today and do some of that stuff if he's available. But the appointment to get the Lyft vehicle starts tomorrow. So today is not a day where I will be able to earn. But you would be able to get down there tomorrow and make all that happen. So I got a lot of load off of my shoulders asking my family for the money and them approving of it. I know they're tired of me. I'm tired of me. I had to tell my uncle that the money in the fidelity account is down to like $600. $670 to be exact. Not good enough. They gave me $2,500, but you know how that goes, man. These processes I'm going through, plus his cell phone, plus everything else. It is what it is, man. The money's not there, but he was able to absorb that. So that was a hard one to tell him that the 25 that they gave me is down to 6 something. But you know, when you're in this situation, man, it costs to get around, it costs to do everything, whatever. So they know I'm ready to work. That's the bottom line. I'm asking them to give me money that I can put in the money that will give me money. I'm not asking them to put this into a bottomless pit this time. It's the Lyft program. I've never had an electrical vehicle, but I think it would be so much easier for me to get an electrical vehicle planned with them and then let them charge the car up themselves. You know what I mean? Just let them add on $75 for the electrical vehicle, charging unlimited, whatever. So that way I don't ever have to worry about gas. I just have to fire my way to an electrical spot. They'll charge it themselves. What I'm worried about is the credit card / debit card rental program thing. I think last time I did this, I may have had a credit card from which to charge it on, but I don't think I did. It might have been a debit card. They may not let me, by way of what I'm doing with the bank I have, do it. So that's what a little bit kind of concerns me. But at least I'll know what my options are, and then from there, if I'm not able to get into the program, that will allow me to have the extra $300 that they have given me for the Lyft program to kind of cushion myself while I find a real job, which shouldn't be too hard. Because like I said, there's a FedEx down the street that y'all saw me walk past the FedEx like hub is right down the street. The big hub, the big huge with the train and all that. That's FedEx. So if anything, if nothing else works, I can start applying for FedEx and just see if I can get myself an actual lifting FedEx job. You know what I mean? For which I otherwise would love not to do. But the good thing is that there are jobs in the vicinity of this hotel. So that is very, very much something I have in mind. In fact, I have a good mind to apply for that just in case. And of course, I have my guard card with me. So, you know, given the fact that this is Monday, I can start acting like I want to get a real job. And if for some reason the lift program is crap, it doesn't work out or whatever, I can have something to fall back on while I'm still in this hotel on this side of town. Now, looking for apartments on this side of town, I have not done. Looking for other hotels to transfer from, I haven't done. I just ain't did it. I could do that today and see what else opportunities may be available just in case this one falls apart for whatever reason. So it's just the preparation of things, making sure I got my ducks in a row. But I want to once again thank my family, everybody who's helping me. You know what I mean? I've gotten help, but I want these people to know that I struggle with my mental health, and that's why my life isn't in order. You know, it's not because I'm some misfit or don't understand the importance of not allowing things to get this bad. It's that my mental health allowed it to get this bad, man. And, you know, I don't blame anybody for that. You know what I mean? That's my burden to carry, and I have a God that loves me and family that loves me. So we just move forward, man. But I'm telling y'all, man, I feel like last night's video, when I made that, I don't feel that much different. Because what I end up feeling like is a burden. You know what I mean? Like a real burden. And it's not feel like, it's an actual burden. You know, you are finding you're a bottomless pit. If you can't earn your own money, regardless if it's your fault or not, you're a bottomless pit. So that's what also frustrates me. One thing I'm not taking into account is the GR program, because it's just not available right now, even though they want to offer it to me. I got to be able to get the paperwork to me, and then they want me to get it to my psychiatrist all the way over in, you know, far. I don't know where the hell that city actually. I don't know what city is that. I don't know, but it's out there, man. You know what I mean? It's way out there. So it's like, if I get a car, if I'm able to drive the rental program, I can take care of that. I can go to wherever my mail is, go get that. Maybe even go back to the old apartment, see if they still got some of my old stuff that I left in there that maybe I want to grab out of there. I didn't leave much, but you know, to go check and see if they can let me check my mailbox if something got forward. There's a lot of things you can do once you have the vehicle. So that's what I want to get into, is the vehicle. And then driving Lyft, like I said, I have good thoughts about driving Lyft. I had good times driving Lyft. It's one of the easier ways to transition from what I just went through to getting back into the working world for my mind. So that's what I did last time. So it's a lot of stuff to be proud of, man. Well, not proud of, but it's a lot of stuff to be looked forward to as it pertains to that program for myself. And as I said to you guys yesterday in the video that I was doing at random, sitting down, I'm really looking to not contribute to the pollution in the air. You know, EV. I want to go EV technology with the vehicle that I get. My own personal vehicle when I do. It's something that's on my mind since yesterday. It's like, gas really is killing the earth, like it, along with everything else that we do. And so if I can contribute to the transition from gas to electrical, why not? It's something that I think is it's a good look for me, so long as I can start to understand where all the charging stations are in the city, for which this program will help me do. Now I know of a few for sure. At the very least, I know where one definitely is, all the way in Inglewood on the other side of town, near the Costco. So that's not going to help me while I'm over here. But the point is, I am aware where certain charging stations are. One in Santa Monica at my old job. So it's like, you know, these type of things, if I find myself in those areas, it won't be hard for me to charge the vehicle, I don't believe. How much does it cost? I don't remember. Anyway, that's not important. I'm brainstorming something that has nothing to do with nothing, trying to figure out if I would actually be able to charge the car in the Santa Monica parking lot for free. But nevertheless, I don't remember. Whatever. The point is, I'm trying to get started. My family said they were going to help me get started with the Lyft program, and of course take care of this week's rent. And I had to tell my uncle the truth about where the money is that they gave me, which is just devastating. I have to tell them that. It's devastating. Because at the end of the day, man, I know better than to allow myself to be in a situation where I didn't have that money with the situation I'm in. I should have secured their cash a lot better than that. I should have saved their money a lot better than that. And I just didn't. period. So whatever comes with that, whether it be a butt whooping or having to sleep on the street for a week, whatever the Lord wants to do with me, I just got to own that. Because when you do wrong, you deserve wrong. And I did wrong. I didn't mean it. You know what I mean? It's not like I was sitting up there saying, let me throw that money away. No, of course not. But you just got to do better, man. That's it. And that's what I tell myself. And I encourage everybody to forgive themselves just the same if you make a mistake, but be intentional on not messing around when you have situations where it's important that you be mature. Step up to the plate. And look, young people, check it out. 39. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have it all together, friends. You know. If you're younger than me, maybe a little older than me, same age as me, we're just a work in progress, friends. Maybe not everybody has mental illness that keeps them from doing things that are obviously necessary. But just the same, you have something else, maybe. You know, the point is, look how I'm struggling, man. You're not doing that bad. You just got to pick yourself up, be intentional on fixing your problems, and know what works as it pertains to you dealing with yourself. If I'm sitting up here saying, I don't want to work, I don't want to do it, I can't do it, I'm defeated, all of that is bad, everything's bad, and I want to die, then best believe you're not going to be very productive. You know what I mean? But if you're saying things that are productive in nature, like, yo, I love myself, I'm going to pick myself up, I'm going to make this a good day, I'm going to absorb what the Lord has for me. Gratitude energy usually works in regards to motivating myself. And so maybe to do the same for you. I don't always feel that naturally, as you can clearly see. But I know what works versus what doesn't. And sometimes you just got to psych yourself into doing what works in that way. So, yeah, man, I'm growing. That's what this is. I'm growing, man. I'm growing. For whatever it's worth, your boy's finally having to face some things that he probably have definitely been avoiding his entire life, and that's the responsibility to budget properly. You know, talking about bad purchases yesterday, spending money on stuff that I knew I could get for significantly less, just for convenience sake, for which I didn't really need. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's like, yo, you were able to get away with that when money didn't exist, Brandon. You know, when you could live your life without ever paying no rent and just weren't worried about ever getting evicted, figuring that AMC would balloon and make you a rich person after a while. At the end of the day, it's okay to say, I didn't like how that played out. Them consequences sucked for me. And now I need to do things like responsible people do, so I can actually have something for myself and not be embarrassed every time I call my family. And that's what this has done to me. Being that way, not paying my bills, thinking it was okay to fall into that lull by way of my own choices, put me in a position to have to humble myself before my uncle as a grown man, saying I did some childish stuff again and now I need your help and now I'm at the mercy of you and thank you. It feels great to have family that loves you that much, but some of us don't have that. So if you did what I did, you find yourself in the worst spot. Or maybe that family just gets tired of your nonsense, like mine probably is going to if I keep this up. And then from there, it's just like, you know what? Nah, bro, you're going to have to figure it out. And that tough love can make you stronger, but it can also get you in a position to where you really have serious regrets about how things are panning out for you in the short term because of it. So, yeah, man, I got a great family, bro. And maybe that's why I allowed it to get that bad. Maybe that's the snot in my own personality to say that my family can take care of it. So let me just allow myself to fall a little further than maybe most people should. And that's wrong. And I think that's also why I'm paying for that's also why I'm in this situation. Because if you think that way for any given moment, and you allow yourself to not take care of your business, not only are you taking advantage of the people that are there that could be helping you, but you're also not becoming somebody who somebody else may be able to use to help themselves. You can't be that help for your nieces and your nephews because you're too busy relying upon your uncle to help you. And that, my friends, is an immaturity that I do not wish to engage in going forward. You know what I mean? I got nieces and nephews of my own. What if they call and say, hey, Uncle Brandon, could you help me right now? You're 39 years old. You're grown. I need help. What am I going to say? I can't, because I'm asking for help. And so it's like, look, to get on your feet, sometimes it takes humble pie. You got to eat humble pie. You got to recognize where the childishness is in you. You got to recognize where the addiction or whatever you got is going on is in you. You got to recognize where you didn't sacrifice where you could. You got to recognize where you just don't have your mental health in order, maybe need to address it. Whatever the case may be. To become the help you want to become, you not only need to help, you may not only need help from others, but you got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. And so for me, it's like, where do I find the balance between doing all the stuff that I love to do, all this artwork, all these different things that I love to do, and the purpose that I have for life, versus helping myself so that I don't become somebody that I look in the mirror and do not like, that I look in the camera and I don't really love this face that much because of what I didn't do and the excuses that I allow myself to make for why it didn't get done versus just getting it done. Some of this stuff is my mental health, decision making, fear, anxieties, for which a doctor would tell you right now is the truth. My brain don't operate the way it needs to always do what everybody needs me to do. It just is what it is. But that doesn't give me the right to not let that stop at a point. It's not like I can't wipe my own behind. You know, it ain't like I ain't going to take a shower in the morning, brush my teeth. Where does it begin? Where does it end? You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it really comes down to. When you tell yourself, oh, I can't do it. Can you? Or did you just not try? You sit up here and say your mental health ain't no good. Okay, well, are you making it any better? Are you saying the right things to yourself? Are you doing the right things? Are you acting upon the things that are going to make you better? Are you going forward in the direction that's going to make it so that you can be that person? Or are you going to continue to accept that you're sick and then need help forever and then just quit when you don't receive it? That's how I was feeling last night. That's how I was feeling when I did that video this morning, or 3 a.m, whatever it was. I was telling y'all, I feel like I'm going to need help for the rest of my life. But that I too can become that help just the same. And you got a conscience, you got a Holy Spirit in you that you believe in, you got a brain, I got talent, you know what I'm saying? I got morals, I have the ability to be kind to people, I got 2 strong arms, 2 strong legs, I can assist people. You know what I mean? So it's stuff that you just have to, at some point in time, say, the mental health concerns that I have, my anxiety and depression, and whatever else they're going to diagnose me with, which I'm sure is extensive, those things are in place, and 2 is an immaturity that allows me to fall back on it for things that it does not necessarily approach, and to identify where it approaches and where it doesn't is the challenge, I guess, for myself to figure out. It's like, yo, where does my mental health begin, and where does the bad conditioning of my childishness end? Where is it? What is it that I actually have to deal with? And that's what I'm hoping that the psychologists and psychiatrists can help me with. But to be honest with you, they're not, because I only speak to them once a month. I got a conversation with this lady on the 8th. And to be honest with you, I'll likely, if everything goes the way I want it to go, I'll likely be doing it in a car, driving. You know what I mean? Literally, man. On the 8th, I think if everything goes the way I want it to go, I'll probably be driving that morning. I'll be doing my therapy session on the road. So it's like, that's what I want to do. Not to say that is my favorite path in life, to like do ride share, but you know what I'm saying? It's what we have, and I'm in Los Angeles. It's not like I'm in somewhere in Arizona. Well, Arizona's probably not bad for it, but like in Iowa or something where maybe ride share isn't exactly common, and maybe they don't need it as much. I'm in the LA area. If I grind it out, there's a lot of money to make doing ride share on top of whatever the dues are for the car. You can cash out big time, especially if you just go crazy. People driving 12 and 13 hours a day, they could retire after 3 years. Type of money that's capable of being made in this area. So, you know, for me, it's like I overthink everything as it pertains to, oh, what happens to my body when I do that? I'm going to be sitting too much. All that crap that's weak, man. At the end of the day, what happens to your body if you don't work? What happens to your reputation if you can't build your way out of this? What happens to your life and your mindset if you don't get the help you need? And if you don't have the money you need, how can you get the help you need? The problem that I'm having right now is the healthcare I have is the cheap Medicare healthcare. So of course they're going to push drugs on you. Of course they're only going to want to talk to you once a month. They got too many people to deal with, and they got a lot of drugs to sell. You know what I'm saying? So the help that you need on this level ain't there. You need to be in a position to earn first, whether you have mental health issues or not. You got to either have a family that can support you that's well off, or you got to build your way out of it with your mental health concerns, with your anxiety. You know, us poor people, we got to fight through that. Rich people, you got the help you need. You got the cushion, the financial backbone to never have to deal with this crap. You know what I mean? And that is why corruption exists, man. I always ask people if they understand who controls the walls. Because I have this analogy in my head about Indiana Jones. I watched it as a little kid, Indiana Jones 2, where You know, they in this spot, and all of a sudden the spikes come out the wall, and all of a sudden they're stuck, and now the walls are closing in on them. They're trying to get out of there, and they gotta find the lever, and they end up reaching into a hole with a bunch of worms in it, and they pull the lever out of it, and then the walls start to decrease and get back to normal, and they don't have to be crushed in that thing, right? That's how I look at environments like this. Who controls the walls, man? Who is making it so that while we're in here working hard and doing whatever, all of a sudden things get squeezed upon us to where we really can't move, even though we are trying to do our best? It still becomes a situation of who's controlling the environment itself. And so these are things that, if you don't have money, then you don't have that lever to pull, man. And the walls will close in on you when you have a brain like this. When you have mental health concerns, there ain't gonna be no help for you. You can get docile with the medication they give you, and eventually you're gonna be a streetwalker. That's what they do. And so it's like, this is why I think corruption exists out of necessity and fear, because people know that if you're poor, them walls are gonna smash you up, and that money is that lever, and them worms is the evil you got to do to get that money. You understand what I'm saying? That's the analogy. People are digging through the wall, them worms and all them bugs, and that's the corruption that people engage in to get paid, so that they can hit that lever, pull it back, and so that them walls can stop being so closed on them. So my understanding is, I feel for people who are backing themselves into hell, literal hell, God's worst place to send people, because they're trying to keep the walls from closing in on them in environments like this, where if you can't push past the financial threshold, you will be crushed by poverty. You will be crushed by the fast nature of everybody moving around you trying to get to it. And you know what I mean? When you got anxiety and mental health concerns, and you got childishness in your head, and you used to your mama taking care of all that stuff, and you ain't, you know what I mean, you grew up not paying bills and all kinds of other stuff that makes you a weaker person, and then you try to go out into the world, you don't have $1, you got to build from scratch. You ain't gonna have the right attitude, you ain't gonna have the right tools, you're not gonna have the right habits and all of that. And that's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. I got all these talents. I got talent up the yang, man. I'm so talented, it's not even funny. But like, who cares? If you can't get yourself off the ground, you're just another poor person nobody knows has anything in them that can be given to the world. So this is what it is, man. It's sad that I'm understanding all of this so late in life. Even though I look young, it doesn't matter. The body's old. But at the same time, it's like, I did take care of myself physically, so it's like I might as well have put extra years on my life by the way that I've eaten, taken care of myself and such. So I'm like 39 going on 33, I guess, as you could say. I think I'm more like 33, really. But at the same time, it's like, ain't nobody gonna look at that and care about that. You just gotta put in the work. You just gotta put in the work necessary to do what you gotta do. I put in work on my body, I'm happy with that. I put in work on my diet. Now I'm used to being able to eat stuff that maybe otherwise most people don't want to eat. I condition myself for that. I can condition myself for other things. And I have to remind myself as well, the lift program didn't really work out for me last time because I didn't follow the advice given to me by people who it worked for. I was riding the hours that nobody should be riding. I was getting out at 12, riding till 6. That's like the opposite of what people should be doing. You get up at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, you shower, you get in that car by 7 and ride from 7 to like 9:30 to 10. That was the suggestion I was given. I didn't do it because I didn't want to get up that early. You know what I mean? Just that kind of stuff. This childishness that I was engaging in 2018. Mental health coddling that ultimately I was engaging in 2018. That's not what I'm doing on this side of town. So I'm assuming that rideshare will work a lot better for me because I'm so much more willing to do things that absolutely make sense in regards to it. So, you know, driving twice a day like my boy T told me to do. Catch it. You want to get out in the morning, boom, and you want to get out in around 4:30. Drive from 4:30 to like 7. You do those 2 stints every day, according to the people that I know have been successful doing it, you're going to get what you want financially from the situation. And so, you know, it's just certain things that I'm willing to do that I was not willing to do just as recently as last week, man. And it's not only because of the circumstances I'm in, but it's because of what it looks like when you're in these circumstances. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Somebody didn't do things correctly, you know? And in the areas that I did do things correctly, I'm happy with what I see. You know, so it's just like, I got a God that I love that's just going to continue to keep me going. You know, last night, as I was sitting up there stressing about all that before I turned on the camera, I tell you, the Spirit moves me physically to help me understand where I'm at with the Lord and what He wants to do. Just like I told you, the carousel energy, He told me, and my fist went up and down really slowly to help me understand that I would be on a carousel of ups and downs. Or when I'm like, Lord, am I okay? He'll give me like an energy to put my thumbs up, or the energy to put my hand behind my back if it's time to relax, or hand behind my head if it's time to relax. These are things that I really genuinely feel compel me to understand where the Lord is at as it pertains to me. Or am I doing okay? Am I on schedule, so to speak? And so I just trust that, man. It may sound crazy to everybody else, but I tend to trust it. And as I do, I don't regret what it is that I ultimately follow in when it tells me I'm okay or not. So I just kind of roll with it, man. I let that be a part of my mental health for those who don't understand the Spirit. Like, yo, I'm crazy, leave it alone. That kind of thing. But I know that it's actually me calling on the God that I believe in, and then the Spirit within me helping me understand little things that otherwise my consciousness won't. So I roll with it, man. I just roll with it. And I've been praying like that since I was a kid, so it's not abnormal for me to feel as if I'm being compelled. Spiritual energies, spiritual entities, and such. So that's just what I am, a highly spiritual person who struggles with his brain, man. Who struggles with what was done to him as a child. Who struggles with how I was treated after it was done, just the same. It's the truth. My mother, because that happened, gave me a lot of passes that she probably wouldn't give her another son if she had one. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's like, oh, you went through that. You're a sensitive kid. Let me protect you. It's like, yeah, I needed protection, I needed help, and I needed direction in regards to how to take care of myself with this head. And, we do the best we can. Just like I told you guys with my packing everything up. And then I was able to show my friend T what I had packed, and he told me to rearrange it in a way that allowed for me to be able to carry it better. This is not much different than that. We need to know how to carry what we have better. And I think that's what I'm going to ask the Lord to help me do in this camera. Lord, help me rearrange what my baggage is so it's easier for me to carry. Yeah, that's a good one. And I hope the same for you. And that way, whatever it is that we're burdened with, we don't find ourselves not able to manage it as we carry it around. I don't think I've ever prayed that prayer, but that's definitely one of the most important ones for my life right now. Is the proverbial baggage that I carry, the mental health stuff, the immaturity, my perception of that, and how that reflects upon me in the mirror, etc. As I've already said, I want to be able to carry that baggage in a much more condensed way so that I can be more productive in my life. And I think that's the crux of the issue. You know what I mean? How to perceive it, how to use it, how to let it work in my favor, how to identify what it is I'm dealing with so I can apply for new things that may be available for people like myself who genuinely struggle with the decision making aspect of our minds. So I just want to tell people, man, I don't want to leave people thinking that it's okay to only feel is like I felt this morning, but I also want people to understand that it is okay to have those moments and still consider yourself to be a motivator. And some of the best motivators go through the most difficult stuff, man. People want to, pray for others. They the ones that need a lot of prayer, man. I think about the people I see on IG who are praying for others, the motivators, trying to get you to understand that all you need is such and such, whatever it is they're saying. And then I wonder, like, one of the reasons why they're wired for this is because they struggle. One of the reasons why they're wired for this is because they had to pull themselves out of those holes. One of the reasons why they feel compelled to help somebody is because they too were able to get that help and it saved their lives. And so those are the ones, as they say, check on your strong friends. Please do, man. Please do. The ones that never need nothing, who will never complain, who will never say they got a problem. It's okay to check on those folks. It's a good chance they don't have any problems at all, but it's also a good chance that they're dealing with something that may be really bad, and they're just strong. But at the end of the day, even the strong could use some support. And so that's something that came to mind too. But what I asked the Lord to help me do is just work through the conditioning of my mind, man. My natural inclination is to not do a whole lot of the time. Do what I like to do, you know what I'm saying, which can make me productive in my own way, but it ain't gonna earn. And what I need to do is earn, because I definitely want to spend. You know what I mean? Bought myself that's what I forgot to tell y'all. I bought myself some food from the seafood Mexican spot down the street. It was delicious, absolutely delicious. But it wasn't cheap, man. It wasn't cheap. And to spend $20 on a meal, it was like, yo, I didn't intend to spend that much money on no damn meal, but I went with it anyway, and that was something I didn't regret because it nourished me and it allowed me to keep some for today. I got a whole nother meal to eat because of that meal, so I turned it into two. But it's like, these are the type of things, like, if you're not going to be able to overcome your mind, so to speak, and I'm talking to myself, of course, to say, okay, I can work, then you're going to spend other people's money to make sure that you can eat comfortably and eat, taste good, and buy all these different things, overpriced paper towel and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? What part of that is your mental health? That's what I tell myself. You got to hold yourself accountable for certain things you do incorrectly and learn them lessons, don't make them again. As it pertains to your spending, especially if you're somebody who's having a hard time earning. And so that's just the maturity of me that ain't got nothing to do with no mental health, nothing. That can control that. You just got to make better decisions. And most importantly, put yourself in a position to earn so that you can respect money better. Because that's really what it comes down to. I think that's the difference between me this week and last week. Because it ain't my money, but because money hasn't been really real to me since I've been living that way I've been living. I take somebody else's money and put it somewhere it had no business being when it's supposed to be helping me. Pick somebody else's money, not spend it in the correct way to save it the way I need to, or buying bad purchases in this kind of way so it dwindles down to nothing, and then you find out that, when it's time to earn your own money, how hard it is to actually come by. You know what I mean? And it's like you let yourself forget that because you're coddling yourself and your mental health. You let yourself forget that because you're comfortable in whatever way you are. And so, or you think that AMC is going to save you if you're me, thinking that that's going to balloon today and all of a sudden you're not to have these problems. No, man. No. None of that's why you're going to be able to ultimately find yourself out of the situation. It's going to be why you stay in it. And so, for me, it's like I want to be hard on myself, but I don't want to be counterproductive in that. It's like how, at what point in time do you realize you're also the initiator of things? So if you're going to be harsh on yourself, you could dampen your desire to be as productive just by way of your very own opinions about yourself. And so all of that balance, man, all of that balance deserves some conversation. All of that balance requires effort and prayer, I believe, if you're a believer, and I am. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, man. This day is going to be about more or less trying to figure out what is the best plan for me with Lyft. My uncle and my grandfather are sending me the money necessary to get started in the program. So once that money comes here, I will be doing more studying to figure that out. And I just asked the Lord to help me figure out a third option for myself, something that I'm not thinking about that can make this day absolutely productive. Something I'm absolutely not thinking about. One thing's for sure is to get that ACP program applied to the other company and get rid of T-Mobile today. Since I got approved for ACP, I didn't do that yesterday. That is getting done today for sure. Applying that to the new program, seeing if I can get the app, the phone sent to here. See if they could have that particular piece of mail sent to this address. Since I was able to get Amazon to send me my weights, which is a purchase I don't think was a bad purchase, you guys. When I start thinking about, why are you spending money on stuff? The $25 on the weights that I purchased, that is a investment in my very own health and the strength of the body that I'm trying to keep up. And like I told you guys, when it comes to stress and when you're going through a lot, it's important that you not let your body go by the wayside. You know what I mean? You want to keep active, you want to eat healthy, and you want to keep your stress as low as possible, meaning take care of everything you can control to do so. And so for me, I've done a poor job of the latter, but the exercise and the eating, I think I did okay. Okay is the word, because I bought myself some food yesterday. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like the exercise aspect of it is important, because if you let that go by the wayside and you're taking on all kinds of stress, your health is going to go by the wayside, and you ain't got the energy to pull yourself out of this. So for me, that was a good purchase. That was an investment in myself. And, for me, I want my family to invest in their health and their fitness. You know what I mean? If they're in situations like this, I don't think my family would be upset at me for making sure that I have what I need to be physically fit and active, because it does trickle down to the energy you have and ultimately how much you can put into what you're doing. And I'm super cognizant of that, as you guys know. So I don't know what else to say. I think I got it all out. The Lord knows that my intention is to grow up now. You know what I mean? Is to say, yo, what I did last week, I wouldn't do this week. I respect money more this week. I know how hard it is to get. I've known that and I allow myself to forget it, and that's not cool. You know what I mean? And then my mental health is going to be what I allow it to be based on the effort I put into fixing my problems. If I don't fix my problems, then I'll have more to stress about, and my mental health will be trash. So one has to help themselves, and that is the way it is. So, you know, this is the preventative measures that I'm asking the Lord to help me with. I'm sick of countdowns that I don't like. You know what I mean? Waiting for sheriffs to show up, waiting to see if things are going to work out with the court systems and all that. It was that comfort and not respecting money and not going out and earning my own and allowing myself to sit back and only do things that didn't make money and refuse to reach into that, you know, that area of bugs to get the lever, you know, to pull the lever. I let the lever stay as it was, and I let them walls close in on me because I didn't want to reach past them bugs. All the different things that I don't like doing that earns you money in this world, I refuse to do them. And I let myself be with that. I just said, you know what, it's my mental health and I just don't want to do it. And maybe that decision is what's awry. Maybe that is the crux of what makes it so that a person cannot work. I don't really know. I don't know what the definition would be for someone who has a mental health concern that can't work, other than somebody who just literally can't function with the public, for which I'm not that. So I don't know if it's okay for me to say that I cannot work. I'll just say that the decision to work is something that I could not initiate within myself prior to finding myself absolutely having to. You know, that's what I will say. Now that I have to, it's like, okay, yeah, I want to. But until I have to, I never want to. And if somebody gave me $1 million right now, obviously I'm not going to do anything that would otherwise put me in a position to have to work. So that's the reality of it, man. If your work ethic is trash, it doesn't really matter if you have money or not. You're just going to lose it. If you don't have any interest in building anything, to believe you me, all you're doing is taking away from the little bit that you have. And or whatever it is that you have. And so for me, that's what I did. I worked when I had my mother's 401k for about 3 years. When I lost that job, stuff happened in my personal life, and then from there I started feeling like I didn't want to work anymore. And so I started picking from that 401k instead of adding to it. Instead of earning enough to add to it, I would pick from it. Same thing with the AMC. Just add? No, pick from it. Pick from it till it goes to nothing, till it's down to $600, till it's down to less than that. And it's like, nah, that, my friends, is the very essence of what coerces you into your mental health stress, your stresses and all the stuff that you call your mental health concerns. That's what gets you there. You know, by not taking care of what you can leading up to that point and telling yourself you can't, or telling yourself it's too stressful to approach the solutions themselves. And then you end up running into the consequences of not having those solutions, and they're stressful themselves as well. So it's like, yo, when I was laying up in that bed last night telling y'all I wanted to quit, these are all the things that were going through my head. You just get tired of being in that cycle. You're tired of feeling like you have to go so far into the red as it pertains to what makes you comfortable just to make it. You know, the reality is, it's like, for y'all, I don't know how this goes, but for me, it's like pulling your finger all the way back to your wrist. That's what it feels like, to just do things that I don't want to do. You know, it's like I'm doing something extremely strenuous as opposed to just saying, all right, fine, let's go. It don't feel like that to me. And so I want people to understand that's what I'm trying to overcome when I'm sitting up here talking to myself. It's not as simple as me saying, all right, let's go. No, I'm really trying to like pull a tooth out. And so I think that's the essence also of the mental health concern. It's like, we tell ourselves we have to do it. That don't always mean the same thing from person to person to person. You know, some of us really, really struggle with whatever it is. And so to respect people who have phobias and stuff like that, I have I have a solidarity for folks, even with the phobias that we tend to laugh at. I remember seeing a lady on Maury Povich. She was afraid of lettuce. That was kind of funny to me back in the day. But now that I have my own concerns, I ain't afraid of lettuce. But I understand how it feels to have to overcome something that feels so completely ridiculous to others. You know what I mean? How you let yourself get homeless when you had such and such and such and such? How you let yourself do that when you're healthy? You look in the mirror, you say you're healthy. You can't go work. You could work all day. But the reality is, this part of myself, it's not about the physical part. It's the mental part that makes it feel like it's just the worst thing in the world to do what other people makes feel like it's just a little bit of an irritation. And so as I hold myself accountable for that, for not doing those things, I have to describe that to you and be honest about it. But that don't mean that I don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't mean you don't do it. It's just like a person who has to cut their arm off to get free so they can live. If you don't cut your arm off while it's attached to this thing, you're gonna die there. You know what I mean? And there have been people who were strong enough to do it. We've known of people either stuck in Mount Everest or something like that. They had to cut a limb off to survive. They had to convince themselves to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what this is. And with respect to the reality of their circumstances, perception of the mental health and how awry that mental health is and that perception, that's what it's about. It's like you perceive it as something that's just not doable. So, yeah, man, I gotta be honest about that too as I sit here with the balance to say, it ain't like I'm just telling myself, really this is gonna be something easy, you just don't want to do it. No, it's the overcoming of oneself within this space to say, this is going to be something that's extremely difficult and you have to do it. And everybody else perceives it as something easy they have to do, but you still have to do it. And so when they tell themselves they're going to get it done, you too tell yourself you have to get it done. For them, it's walking out the door. For you, it's cutting off your arm. But it's still the same action and you still have to do it. That's what it is, man. It's exactly what it is. So it's like, look, I just want people to know there's balance here. I love myself as it pertains to just about every aspect of my personality that didn't cause these problems. But the parts of me that did cause these problems, I don't really find myself too fond of. And I don't know how to treat that aspect of myself really, as you can clearly see. But I can tell you what I don't want. I don't want to only have 4 bags full of stuff, and that's it. After having my own apartment, my own car, bed, everything that I had, it's been dwindled down to 4 bags. 4 bags. And you know what I mean? I just think that all in all, I gotta reach through that lever, man. I gotta reach for the lever. I gotta dig through them bugs. I gotta dig through all them worms. I gotta reach for that lever, and I gotta pull them walls off of me. Or I'm gonna have more nights like I had last night. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it if every night is like last night or worse. So that's the reality of it, man. I knew I shouldn't have went to sleep at 9 o'clock last night. I went to sleep at 9 o'clock and woke up at like 2:55. Didn't really go back to sleep till like 5 in the morning, man. Luckily enough, it was still dark when I fell asleep, so it felt like I got a good night's sleep, but it just is what it is, man. You just got to find a way to not get in your own way, whether it's mental health concerns or you're a normal person. Especially if you're a normal person, please take what I'm saying as real. It's hard for some of us, man. It's hard for some of us to do things that we need to do properly or to overcome certain things that may seem easy to others. If you don't have these issues, and you're just kind of like, and that's your struggle, that's a struggle worth battling, man. That's a fight worth winning. If you need to put in the extra work, a little bit of extra work, maybe if you're going down to do 8 push-ups, do 9 for me. You know what I'm saying? Do 9 for me. If you're going down to do 10 crunches, do 11 for me. Because at the end of the day, you put in that extra effort and you will build what is necessary to make you stronger. That'll make it so that you don't fall into some of these concerns that I'm running into when you don't put in that extra effort. That extra effort will give you the conditioning necessary to when you have to put in extra effort, it won't feel crazy to put in that extra effort. I think that's what it is. We self-condition just like anything else. And we talk about, we watch all this stuff on TV and it's conditioning our minds. Well, our effort too conditions us just the same. So if you're going to go down to do 10 push-ups and you only do 8, you know what I'm saying? You're going to definitely get used to 8. And eventually, when you go down to do 8, maybe if you continue on that path, you only do 6, and eventually you stop doing what you need to do. But if you put in that extra effort on the push-ups, when it's time for you to do the crunches and time, and you want to do extra effort, it won't feel as strenuous. It won't feel like you're pulling your teeth out. It'll feel like you just adding this what you always add to, because that's how you move in other areas of your life. So that effort will trickle down to how you feel about yourself. That effort will trickle down to how you handle other aspects of your life, and you'll look in the mirror, you'll feel a lot better about the person you are for doing a little more. I believe that. So yeah, man, that's the thought. God is good, man. I was fearful last night. I did some praying too. I didn't just sit there in my own thoughts and negativity and went to sleep. I talked to God about it, and of course He gave me the thumbs up, telling me to take care of it. And I also told Him, Lord, I need You to help me with the stuff that ultimately lets me feel like things need to be taken care of. And let me have the ability to take care of some things, so I ain't got to come to You with so many struggles to save my behind. I don't want to be struggling all the time with will my faith hold up as I go through these trials that I created for myself by way of not having put in the right amount of effort consistently. So now it feels like crazy because I don't necessarily have that rhythm of putting in that effort. So please save me, Lord. I'm tired of all of that. Give me the strength to put in the effort necessary every time. Give me the strength to carry my baggage more condensedly so I can carry it the way I need to. Allow me the opportunity to love who I am leading up to circumstances, just like I love You when You save me from those circumstances. That's what I'm asking for. I got a lot of good things going for myself. I present well, I can speak well, I do all this and that, therapy sessions, the Laker videos, all that stuff is really, really fulfilling, for me. I'm gonna make up for all of what it is I don't do with the stuff that I'm capable of doing, which I don't think everybody can do. Not everybody has a well-rounded amount of talents and stuff like that. But with all of this talent, if you don't have the investors, or if you're too chicken to go out there and let yourself be known, or if you're too caught up in what's wrong to do the right thing for yourself in these ways, then of course you're only going to stay on a low level for the rest of the time that you're working on these things. Nobody's going to know who you are. You're going to be stuck at 46 followers and subscribers for the rest of your life. Until you start putting in a little more extra work, putting in a little more extra effort in areas that ultimately will promote you properly. And then digging through that wall with the worms to get to that lever so you can make the money necessary to control your life a little better. So you don't have to humble yourself before your uncles. You don't have to humble yourself before your sisters. You don't have to humble yourself before others, your friends, and say, I ain't make it. I can't make it. I think I'm gonna need more help. I think I'm gonna quit, or whatever the heck you're gonna say. I don't know how to perceive myself fully, but I can tell you that I'm looking to improve upon that, man. I'm looking to improve upon myself. I'm looking to improve upon what it is I believe works, in terms of my effort and budgeting. And I hope that the Lord can give me an opportunity to take care of myself, whether it be through the conditioning of living on this level and making it, or something to elevate me so I can get the money necessary so that I can make it. Literally. I'm going to need a little help from on high here. I don't really know if it's just about my effort and if it's just about my attitude. I'm going to also need some blessings. I'm going to need to meet some people that I don't know yet. I'm going to need to overcome some stuff that I haven't overcome yet. I'm going to need to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, that's what I'm asking the Lord to help me do with the time that I have. So that I don't have to continue to be so unhappy, I guess is the words. Unhappy, man. Alone and unhappy. For which I don't think I deserve, to be honest with you. I really don't. I would like my own family. I would like my own, stuff, car, house, this, that, and the third. And none of that is real to me right now because of all the things I've been talking about, and plus the play I'm in, AMC, for which we talked about last night in that video as well. People who are in control of those walls ultimately not necessarily being graceful, or what's the word? Showing any grace to the people who are stuck in between them. You know, man, I tell you right now, and I always tell y'all, don't play with God. One of the reasons why I feel like I'm in this hotel room is because I did some things I should not have done. There's a lot of things that could have went differently, I think, over the last 2 weeks, because I stepped away from what it is I should have been doing spiritually, and I know that. I think he made it a little tougher for me, and that gave me a different level of respect for not playing with God. I've been saying don't play with God ever since. I was never saying that before then, but now I know the difference. It's like you can't toy around with stuff, and you shouldn't want to, and you shouldn't fear those consequences, and you should know that the Lord saved you from those consequences, so you should provide him that respect to not play with it. And he could have destroyed me for all the mistakes that I made. He could have made it so that I'm on the street right now. He could have made it so that I was getting robbed of all these different things that I got in these 4 bags. He could have made it so that I didn't get the grace of a family that wants to help me. Hell, maybe they just don't answer the phone now. You know what I mean? Then what? There's a lot of ways he could have made this worse for the sake of making it so that I learn to never do anything that he doesn't respect within myself. And he didn't do that. Maybe he did it to somebody else. Maybe he did that to you. But he gave me the grace of not doing that, man. And the reason I believe that is because he knows deep down that I know better. So it shouldn't take a whole lot for me to learn that lesson. And it didn't, man. I'm definitely clear of some of those thoughts or those actions. I'm clear of that. I'm clear of that, man. And it's one of those situations where it's like, I appreciate that he didn't let me fall, but I also appreciate that he hit me hard, so that respect can be in my head and heart as I move forward. Like, look, don't play with God. Warn others not to play with God. Don't think it's okay to dabble in evil and wickedness or whatever the heck you're doing. Don't think it's okay to dabble in stuff that you know damn well ain't for your spirit. Don't. And most importantly, that gives me a confidence too. And this is another thing. Confidence to know that he will punish others for messing with you. And when he punishes you and shows you he ain't playing, now you can not only warn others that you care for with what it is that you've learned through the lesson he's given you, but you can also warn your enemies that who they are messing with is who they should not, as it pertains to your God and yourself. And that's what I'm able to do now as well, because he hit me so damn hard, made me feel the wrath of God last week. Now I'm like, look, them hedge funds who on the other side of this, you're playing with God. Those people who are allowing certain things and controlling the walls and not letting people, not clearing out those bugs so it's easier for us to grab that lever. You're playing with the guy who just pushed me around for the wrongdoings that I was doing. You're toying with someone you do not want to toy with. And so that's what I tell people with bad energy. Y'all acting like God don't exist. You want to move around like God don't exist. Maybe you don't have that faith. Maybe your brain tells you don't trust nothing but yourself. I'm telling you, your brain is not telling you the full story. You don't have all the angles. If you did, you would know what I'm telling you is true. You wouldn't have any question about that. He's real. Now, how you reach him, which religion gets to him, all that stuff, I don't know. But I can tell you this. If you think there ain't no extra entity in the sky with some power, then you ain't paying attention to my channel. you ain't paying attention to what's going on in my life. Because ain't nothing but proof here. Ain't nothing but proof here. But even with that proof, you still have to apply the faith, because he's not showing up in the flesh like I am. You understand what I'm saying? Even with the proof, you have to wonder if this is going to be the time where maybe his mercy doesn't come upon you, because he has other things he wants to do with that mercy, and maybe you just need to fall now. And that's always something that I have to learn about in regards to myself. It's not just loving God and fearing God, but it's too trusting God. You have all three. You can love him and fear him, and then it's like, all right, I love and fear you, but if the trust ain't there, it's like, all right, bro, are you gonna get me now? You got my back now, or is this one of the times you don't got my back for the betterment of whatever you want to do, and then I gotta fall, and then maybe you catch me later on, or maybe this is just your will that I just fall today. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, but it's that trust that'll help you understand it is. The definition of fall itself doesn't have to be what you have it in your head to be if he wants you to fall. You know what I'm saying? He'll also give you all kinds of grace down there. He'll also have so many different things that you love down there. You know, you don't have to perceive falling like someone who's damned will perceive falling. Because if you got God's grace, he'll just Job you, so to speak. You be losing everything, you get it all back tenfold. It'll be like you never lost anything. So that's the spirit that the Lord told me to fall into in regards to my circumstance about a month and a half ago when I first got my letter telling me they wanted me to go to court. It was speak of the spirit of Job. He lost it all, but it was nothing that he couldn't get it all back. He got it all back. Everything he lost, all the people who passed away, the Lord brought them all back. Every bit of the animals that he lost, all his property, all of it came back. He didn't end his life without anything that he lost. In fact, it all was there for him upon his death. He had it all. So that's what the Lord told me he wants to do here. I'm not going to be without what I need, and I'm not going to be without what I had, and it's going to be replaced tenfold and all of that. I just got to get through this. And it's easy to forget that when you're in a space where you've lost everything and you're waiting to see what God wants to do. That's why that scripture or that belief or that religion or whatever is so important, because it will give you a compass through the fog. And maybe the enemy has got all kinds of stuff around trying to tell you that God ain't gonna have your back this time. This time he ain't gonna have your back. This time he wants you to fall. This time you gotta just go ahead and deal with me. And that's not true. Because there is spiritual warfare going on, and he don't never want you to go over there with him. That's the thing. Even if he makes it so that you go through the difficult times, it's about preparing you for the side that you're on with him, not sending you in exile to the army of the other side. So in spiritual warfare, that's the solution to wondering if he wants you to fall this time. Change your definition of fall if the answer is yes, because you're not falling out of grace with the Lord. If you're intent on staying on his side, you will receive the blessings that come with that. So that's what came to my spirit in response to what I was concerned about just now. It's like, yeah, if he wants you to fall right now, it's not the same as falling when you're damned. And so just keep on believing in your God. Keep believing in yourselves. Keep believing in what works. Keep believing in what helps. Keep believing, because at the end of the day, God can make you feel better about what you're going through. You know, if you would have told me 2 weeks ago I would be living in a hotel, I would probably say it wouldn't be too much for me to be able to make a good playlist, or I wouldn't have time to do my art, or there would be no way for me to do my exercise. I would have had all these ideas about how this day is going to go, or how this time would have been. But the reality is, all the different things he told me about making it so that I would be okay with the thumbs up, I've basically been okay. I still have more concerns ahead, but just like before I turned on the camera, I made the phone call, my family said yes, and now I'm going to get what I need. Everything I was stressing about, thinking about maybe quitting over, nah, it's not going to play out the way your doubt tells you. Your faith is a much better predictor than your doubt. So apply it, and don't play with God. Love yourself, be good to yourself, be kind with yourself, be kind to others if it's in you to do so, and if not, stay away from people so you don't let your bad energy push off on them. Improve your energy and then come back around, because you definitely don't need to be alone for too long. That's real. The balance, seek it, and swim through the fog, and do not be afraid of those bugs, man. Do not be afraid of those bugs, because you're gonna have to get to that lever. And so that's what the wisdom is, man. It's a whole hour of talking. I don't feel like I've been talking that long, but I just had such a heavy spirit right now, because I'm so frustrated about everything I'm going through. So frustrated with my behavior and what I'm used to, and I'm very frustrated with the circumstances I'm in. But I gotta win. I gotta win this battle, man. I don't want to die, literally. As bad as I said I want to quit, it's just as bad as I want to succeed. It's just not. There's no consistency there, really. I just don't want to be in a bad situation anymore, and I don't want to be the reason my situation remains bad. So that's how I feel about it, man. I thank everybody for rocking with BDF 44.